So, good morning, Perkins and Will. We're here to start our first series in the Framework series called Geiger. And giving us our tour this morning will be Brian Bates as we hear about the living office. So, welcome, Brian.
Thank you for coming, Steve. I just want to welcome you to our Chicago showroom at NeoCon, where it's really exciting transition for Geiger this year. A lot of new product and a lot of new direction in textile, lounge seating, and also the way we're approaching the living office. So with that, we can get started right up here in our plaza.
Okay.
This way. So as we transition between the Herman Miller and the Geiger spaces here in the Mart, we have our plaza, which is a public space, and there's no time better to really show the power of the plaza at an event like NeoCon, where you can see this wide open, inviting public space with comfortable lounge seating, and people really just using it with its exact intention, just sort of meet and gather. We have a lot of new product this year, as I had mentioned, and we also have a lot of existing product as well as some of our legacy product, our People Business Classics by Ward Bennett. We have a new textile introduction this year. There are 3 new textile introductions, and you'll see that on the Ward Bennett roll-arm sofa here, which has such a beautiful new personality in these new colors inspired by Awesome Fabrics.
Great. So, you're showing us the plaza here. So, when the employees are using the plaza, it's sort of a soft meeting zone to meet and work in.
Exactly. It's also could be a reception environment. It's depending on the type of work environment and the type of work that's going on there. This could be scaled up or down. So this is a large environment, so we can certainly accommodate different areas and host different parts of the plaza. Also featured in our plaza is our Domino credenza in beautiful exotic woods. We launched that product last year.
That's a beautiful product.
Oh, thank you. And that is some Ise Weinfeld from Brazil. And we also, as one of our new product launches, is EOS by an Austrian design team. And some of these pieces, including EOS and Rolled Arm, are inclusive in the Herman Miller collection as well as Geiger. So they were designed for Geiger. They're also included in the Herman Miller collection. So you will see them in two platforms within Herman Miller and Geiger.
So this really has a very homey, very residential feel to it. Very comfortable.
Exactly, very comfortable, very inviting, and the colors also lend themselves to that mentality, to that language of comfort and luxury.
Great.
So we talk a lot about beauty and purpose, and also endearment. So things should maintain their relevance, and I think we see a lot of that going on here. We certainly see the beauty in the product. The purpose is pretty clear, and of course, we know with products like Roll-On that's been around for decades, so it certainly does have a relevance over a period of time. And we hope with new designs like EOS, crosshatch by EOS, we do hope that we see the same type of relevance over a period of time.
Why don't you sit in the chair and show us how it feels?
I certainly will, and I also would like to point out the beauty of the chair and the construction of it and the details on the finger joints, on all of this detail, and the bottom of the chair is very beautiful. And I know that you know me from my Danish days, and one of the things that I do love about this chair is that it's beautiful from all sides, top, bottom, back, and sides. So not only truly 360 all the way around. So it's got beautiful details top to bottom. With some beautiful Gerard pillows. The chair is a very comfortable seated height. And
it's very elegant and lovely. So let's go to Jump Space.
So Jump Space, in the language of the living office, is a semi-private area.
I like the windows of big old
You have an opportunity for different types of meetings to sort of sit down, charge your laptop, charge your iPad, exchange emails, catch up on some work. It's really a touchdown space, and what we're showing in this jump space here is new product designed by Jeff Sorrell, who's actually with us here today. He could speak a little bit more about the design and the inspiration to it, but it's a really beautiful table solution available in different heights. We're also showing a unique height this year, which is 25 inches, I believe. So it's somewhere between a low lounge table and a regular conference table height that we're used to. So it really sort of invites that lean-in, comfortable type of environment. And included with Elsie is also a demountable wall system which integrates all of the technology. And I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Sorrell, who's the designer of this product.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey. How you doing, Steve? Good to see you.
Thank you.
So, Elsie, one of the things that we did is obviously we went out and talked to folks in the field, customers, designers. Always like to ask sort of, what are you trying to put together in the way of solutions that you're not finding from a single manufacturer or from a collection? You're kind of cobbling things together, and oftentimes it came down to these meeting spaces that, meeting spaces have sort of proliferated. They're becoming sort of a primary sort of relevant application for the workplace where people meet, build content together and such. And the desire was to really have a whole range of meeting spaces. More meetings are happening, smaller meetings, have a lot of different meeting spaces sprinkled throughout the floor plate. And to focus on spaces that 2 to 4 people might meet in,
right.
And also to be able to scale that up to larger, more conventional conference rooms and such. The other thing that we found was that designers were trying to create these spaces for different postures, ranging from low and lounge kind of height, such as this, to standard height, to stand-up or stool-based. And no one manufacturer is really looking at those types of meeting spaces and the connection with technology in a holistic way. So what's interesting about this is you look at the different LC settings, is that there are sort of a range of levels of integration with the architecture. And part of that is about being able to manage wires out on top of the wall instead of in the wall, and cover up outlets. And there's outlets are always like ending up where you don't want them.
Right.
You're having to move them around and do all sorts of things to sort of hide them. And so we created a wall system that manages the wires and also out to the technology, so the credenzas are equipped to be able to house technology. And this doesn't show the rack mounting option, but you could rack mount equipment in this, so it'll have a pull-out rack mount and manage all your wires up into your large-scale displays.
Oh, great. So, yeah, because everyone's, not necessarily working or meeting at their desk anymore. They're all meeting at the other places and working. So having places like this and having that technology built in is very fundamental to support the new workplace.
Right. That connection to technology is just, it's everywhere now. And nobody thinks twice about having a flat screen on the wall to build content or to share content. And so we really wanted to enable that, but also create a collection that went from, informal to formal, and to address these different postures or physical postures that people like to meet in. So it's really sort of more of an eclectic, a little bit more residential sensibility. Oftentimes you don't see, meeting tables with wood legs, and that's one of the features that we have, is this beautiful wood leg with a metal casting that receives that. And then we have a metal leg option, and then we move up to large-scale conference spaces with like a pedestal or a plinth-style base that's all part of the collection.
Great.
And you'll see that in another one of the spaces where there's a high level of integration with the architecture for the wire management and such, and then a large video conference-based shaped table as well.
Great. So you also did this wall system as well?
Yeah, so that's part of this collection. So it's and there's a setting in the back where the table is physically connected to the system on the wall and really sort of brings all this together, because we recognize that there are this range of integration where if you've poured the floor, you're able to obviously manage wires down and over from
right.
the table, but we also wanted to be able to offer a connected version where the table is actually wall mounted at one end and has two legs, and the wires and connectivity to the technology is directly into the wall or directly to the large scale display.
Oh, great.
So I think the way we're delivering power and data to the top of the table is also unique. We now have it designed by this. The solution is really interesting. So this is one option for power with USB ports. We also think that retractable cords for HDMI, VGA,
17.
Cat 6. Somebody actually asked about other technology like iPhones or iPads.
There's a 3.5 audio jack option as well. So one of the things that's pretty interesting about this too is I didn't want to add an additional grommet for elements that get installed, by facilities, say a Questron control panel,
right.
Polycom or something. And so there's actually a stop that facilities can wind a couple screws in from underneath, and it creates a stop, so this will only close to this point, and then you have essentially your wire management grommet that's built in to every one of these power units.
Yeah, because oftentimes those things are always sitting on the table, and how do you manage those wires and cables as well?
Right. And I just didn't want to put another grommet in. I wanted it to feel integrated and just enough, just what it needs to do.
Right. So it really looks like a great piece of furniture versus, a tech table or something with all these wires and thing. That is really nice.
Well, in the sensibility, a lot of folks would love to put a classic table, in a meeting space,
right.
but it's essentially, it's not intelligent. And so we wanted to create something that had a kind of classic sensibility, but that was really smart at the same time. It's wire management down the legs. Even with the wood leg, we have a wire management capability. There's a metal leg that has even more capacity to run wires down to the floor that you'll see in one of these other settings. So.
Great.
And I'd like to show you some of the new materials that we're using in tables.
Okay.
Because I think we have a really beautiful new material. It's proprietary to Geiger right now, and it's top. We have 4 different colors that will be available in. It's a linoleum type product from Denmark. So it's really a great writing surface. It's a great soft material and pretty durable. And you'll see the same tops in the nickel.
So I like this new shape top. Is this something, a different variation? It's not quite a boat-shaped table, but it's very architectural and
that's the visual language of this product line kind of has that running through it. There's sort of a certain faceted architectural quality to it. The large plinth bases for the conference table really show that off as well in this room here.
Oh, great.
Maybe it's in use.
We have also a more formal meeting space with yet another table base for LC, and I just want to see if we can jump into the private meeting room.
They are just walking solid steel.
we'll jump in there afterwards.
Okay.
And we'll just continue on. There's also, we're adding to our soft seating collection with additional seating by the same designer, Vincent Van Dyson, who actually brought Bravo to us, which we launched last year at NeoCon. So we also have some new seating for him as well. And this comes, you're seeing actually in our new sateen weave, which is another one of our new textile launches. And this is a chair that's available with or without arms. And we can also do 2 different textiles.
Oh, very nice.
Right now we can mix textiles. We prefer to stay in the same textile. And we're looking at other options, what we can do creatively in textiles.
So the leg detail on this is really beautiful.
On the chair.
Yes. Okay.
Let's jump in the private meeting space because it's fully booked today, so we have an opportunity to jump in here. And while we're talking about beautiful legs and bases, this is another really unique introduction this year. This is also another version of Elsie, and a very beautiful, very simple base, very complex. It was not easy to make, and but we figured it out. So you actually have, like any other base from Geiger, the panels are flexible,
Right.
full access to your power and data, so it's easy for your AV and electricians to load up the table. And we're showing yet another integrated technology in this space.
It's very sculptural.
Very.
Essentially, there's talked about the wire management through these spaces,
Meeting space.
where the panels remove, and
Right.
IT's able to just get in there and screw right into the frame, because he's essentially built like a wood chair, essentially,
Right.
inside. So incredibly structural, but really flexible. This covers up a doghouse that's come up out of the floor, that's being plugged into, and then it also has the wire management trough actually pivots and opens up to access the power and wire management.
Okay.
It's very similar to the trough that we have in MP that's hinged, so it's easy to sort of pop things in there and
Access it.
And this is a great example of that stop that we talked about on that permanent grommet up here. So we have our technology, the pressed-on control panel is there, and this is the rest of the power trough, but it's stopping here.
Right.
So you have that permanent grommet and an installation of retractable cords.
Oh, excellent.
Technology. And with this technology, which is third party, of course, but you can also present wirelessly from here as well.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you.
I think if you want to go head towards.
Yes, definitely.
So,
We go in?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
I actually had Steve Gain was actually waiting for a quick bus and they find but I just want to also just sort of reiterate how important Tuxedo continues to be to the Geiger Lounge and soft seating collection. What we're showing new this year is some new tables, also designed by Craig and Scott, Boston Fellows, which complements the table. This is actually part of the configuration, so rather than a corner unit where we have a table, so that each side is mounted to the table. But they're also available as freestanding tables as well.
Oh, beautiful. That's really grown into quite a nice collection of pieces.
It's a pretty comprehensive collection, which is what's really nice. Here's the table, actually, the Tuxedo table in this Cove setting with Tuxedo Classic, also designed by Boston Fellows. It's an extension of the Tuxedo Lounge series. And the difference in crosshatch, here we have warmer colors, different color frame. So it really changes the chair
Are
significantly.
these solid wood frames?
This is solid. Our seating is always solid wood frames. And I'd also just point out another version of domino storage, a high version, which is not only used for storage, which is customizable. So you'll see some file storage, different materials and artifacts can be stored within it. But one of the beautiful things about domino storage, whether it's the low or the high, is it's got a beautiful base and it's got a beautiful detailed finish, 360 again.
Well, you know, it really shows Geiger's ability to do with wood. I mean, you guys do a great job with your wood.
Thank you. And I will also just point out our walls, which introduce you to a mirror. I mean, it was a phenomenal undertaking, and I think we did a beautiful job. Not only in our furniture, but also our wall panels are from our wood collection. So thank you for pointing that out, because we have done a significant So there's two directions we can go in. We can look at the Haven, which is a private office space. We can look at another jump space, which also shows Cyrill's Haven with a different application. It's mounted to the wall. Again, it's got that really beautiful vermilion top in another color. We do have blue color.
Yeah, this is really nice. I like this. It's a nice alternative that you don't normally see in tables. So is the surface linoleum, and then what is the edge, and is that a different material?
It's the same material, and that's part of what's exclusive to Geiger. Is we've made an agreement with a company that actually manufactures this edge banding, and so we have an exclusive agreement that allows us to get this more monolithic kind of result with this Forbo material. So usually you'll see it with a wood edge, if you see it anywhere, or a metal edge,
Right.
but never as a monolithic, expression like this.
Right.
So this has a beveled edge, but you can also, the collection comes with a flat edge as well.
And another beautiful thing, not a single wire is exposed. Everything is running through the wall. And there's a panel back there.
Right.
You can see a groove in here, so there is an option if you wanted to run
Right.
power wire down that way as well. We can manage wires that way, and it would automatically ship with however many legs. In this application, there's 2 legs, and it's a beautiful detail. We can look at that if you want to get a quick picture of that as well. I do want to introduce you quickly to Steve Gain,
Hi.
our president.
Welcome.
Steve?
Yes.
Steve Gain, good to have you
I'll make
here.
it easy.
Thank you for visiting our space.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, you're in good hands with Jess and Brian, but if there's anything I can help you with, what we're trying to do here is sort of that intersection between industry and art.
Right.
Where you're seeing a lot of craft and technology capability come together, and we think it's still about beautiful stuff and stuff that resolves problems, and try to do it at a high level just from an elegant standpoint. So complements the Herman Miller living office story very well, and if we've got any questions at all, let us know.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Taking the time to visit Geiger.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
So continuing the story of the living office, we've talked about a lot of different environments, and some of them are pretty typical of what people have come to Geiger historically is for a private office space. We call it the Haven in the living office. So we're showing some really interesting and unique opportunities how to address the Haven. So where you're going to do your contract work.
So is this meant to be a private office, or private office and meeting space?
Private office, sort of a hybrid of all of the above. It also has another level of comfort and luxury. So, I mean, we sell primarily in the contract universe, but we can certainly see this in somebody's home. It's that comfortable.
Right.
So, if you're a law firm or some type of price organization with late hours. You can even lay out and take a quick power nap on the sofa. But it's an interesting way to address guest seating in a private office environment.
Right, and plus someone, if this is an executive office, might want to relax and enjoy the space as well, and so it gives them different options and makes the space much more amenable and flexible.
And yes, and very comfortable, and I think it makes people comfortable to sit down and have a meeting in a space where it's really inviting to sit down.
Right, which might help lead people to have more open conversations than versus being so formal and sitting in a traditional room.
Inspiring creativity and collaboration. You'll see in the other areas as well our new wall system. So we do have a floating shelf, which has up until now been a custom from Geiger. So this is now standard product, and this sort of integrates with all of our case good generations, if you will. This happens to be Lulz. But as you know, we very often blend from product to product.
Right.
So, but this happens to be all levels. The surface on the wall, on the panel, is actually a magnetic and writable surface, which is a gray back painted glass. And another nice detail, when you're not really sure where your power is coming from, you've got a pencil lid and a trough in the back to manage that, all that wiring. So really everything is concealed and beautiful.
Okay.
Step out over this way. To another alternative for the private office or the haven. So again, back painted glass, magnetic and writable. And something that we've also implemented this year is a new custom capability shop in our factory in Atlanta. So we are really embracing the opportunities to do good custom work to really meet the design and aesthetic need of a project. And a lot of what you're seeing here at NeoCon really sort of came out of that effort. And that portion of our factory has been rededicated to custom capabilities. The New York showroom will actually have a refresh that will really highlight some of the product coming out of custom capabilities. Just to sort of send that message out to the design community and the end user community. If you can imagine it, we can.
Oh, that's great.
I just want to show you, I'm going to finish in our workshop in our last private office because it has a very relevant product in here, which is
Oh.
things that are really relevant. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about height adjustability, options, how to work, how they want to work, how they have to work. So we have embedded a height adjustable table. This is actually an everywhere base, or Renew from Herman Miller.
Right.
That's beautifully concealed in a full wood reveal behind. Honesty panel that floats up. If you needed to access the wall, you can just raise it completely. Access the wall.
Oh, that's great.
We can also do a double pedestal desk like this if you want to be freestanding, and this needed to be storage space. And again, with the Geiger wall system, we have embedded LED lighting, which is a really beautiful toy to play with.
Oh. Now, could I get this programmed on my iPhone if I wanted to?
That's a really good question, and I have to find out. We are looking into vacancy sensors and other things. iPhone program we have not been asked for yet, but I can certainly bring that back to our engineering and design and development people.
Yeah, because we're starting to see a lot of proliferation of these sort of tools like this, bringing as apps onto like iPhones and Androids. So it'd be interesting to see if that would be done with this as well.
At Geiger and Herman Miller, it's becoming very app-driven. So it's a really great question, and I'm sure, as I said, if you can imagine it, we can create it. So with that, I just want to finish out our workshop. It's another collaborative space. Our MP Flex table, so it's easily to gang to sort of create different type of environments. It could be a training environment, it could be a meeting space, and today we're actually showing our new textile that we're introducing this year at NeoCon. So we have, as I mentioned, we have these beautiful new textiles in 45 colors. Amy Pizanski is our national textiles.
Hi, Amy.
We are
Good.
Yes, he's filming.
And so these are designed by Boston Fellows?
So what they did is they looked, they're really, there's three that are piece-dyed. They're very classic, timeless fabrics. So there's the wool epping clay, the wool velvet, and then the wool sateen. And it's stitched, which is a great complement to them. So this has kind of a classics with a modern twist, being that it's a pinstripe, but yet has a little bit of a randomness to it. And it's really in a color theory though. So they look to Le Corbusier for color inspiration, really to create a whole new color theory for Geiger.
Oh, it's a beautiful palette.
Yeah. So they're based on pigments that
So I know you people who are watching this on screen, you're not going to get the full richness of these colors, but definitely reach out to your Geiger rep to get these. They're gorgeous colors.
Yeah, they have like this. They're based on pigments found in nature, so pre-1950s, where color was a little bit more muted, a little bit more natural. There's also this is the wool called staple. It's a wool velvet, so there's really beautiful neutrals, and then these deep, rich, saturated colorways. This is 250,000.
And one of the great things on our textile collection, a majority, if not all of it, is actually approved on Geiger seating, and it's available for cut yardage. So it is not limited to our own furniture, although we'd love to see it on there. I think it also really builds into our message when we talk about our textiles for luxury at every price point. And it also sort of feeds into our other message of minimalism made sensual. So it really adds to another layer of luxury and beauty.
And they work well together, as well together as alone. So things like this have this, classic kind of a hunter green, but a little bit more muted and sophisticated, combined with, something like this. So
Oh, great.
Together.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, look at we can build things at Geiger.
So Perkins and Will, this is Framework at Geiger. Stay tuned for Framework Herman Miller, where we'll be learning more about the living office. Thank you.